These guests might not be with us long, but they would return again, and he, the most injurious of the whole, his child's worst enemy, would still remain. I could endure it for myself, but for my son it must be borne no longer. The world's opinion and the feelings of my friends must be alike unheeded here, at least alike unable to deter me from my duty. But where should I find an asylum, and how obtain subsistence for us both? Oh, I would take my precious charge at early dawn, take the coach to M, flee to the port of Blank, cross the Atlantic, and seek a quiet, humble home in New England, where I would support myself and him by the labour of my hands. The palette and the easel, my darling playmates once, must be my sober toil-fellows now. But was I sufficiently skilful as an artist to obtain my livelihood in a strange land, without friends and without recommendation? No. I must wait a little. I must labour hard to improve my talent, and to produce something worthwhile as a specimen of my powers, something to speak favourably for me, whether as an actual painter or a teacher. Brilliant success, of course, I did not look for, but some degree of security from positive failure was indispensable. I must not take my son to starve. And then I must have money for the journey, the passage, and some little to support us in our retreat in case I should be unsuccessful at first. And not too little either, for who could tell how long I might have to struggle with the indifference or neglect of others, or my own experience or inability to suit their tastes. What should I do then? Apply to my brother and explain my circumstances and my resolves to him? No, even if I told him all my grievances, which I should be very reluctant to do, he would be certain to disapprove of the step. It would seem like madness to him, as it would to my uncle and aunt or to Millicent. No, I must have patience and gather a hoard of my own. Rachel should be my only confidant. I thought I could persuade her into the scheme, and she should help me first to find out a picture dealer in some distant town. Then through her means I would privately sell what pictures I had on hand that would do for such a purpose, and some of those I should thereafter paint. Besides this, I would contrive to dispose of my jewels, not the family jewels, but the few I brought with me from home, and those my uncle gave me on my marriage. A few months' arduous toil might well be borne by me with such an end in view, and in the interim my son could not be much more injured than he was already. Having formed this resolution, I immediately set to work to accomplish it. I might possibly have been induced to wax cool upon it afterwards, or perhaps to keep weighing the pros and cons in my mind till the latter overbalanced the former, and I was driven to relinquish the project altogether, or delay the execution of it to an indefinite period, had not something occurred to confirm me in that determination to which I still adhere, which I still think I did well to form, and shall do better to execute. Since Lord Loughborough's departure, I had regarded the library as entirely my own, a secure retreat at all hours of the day. None of our gentlemen had the smallest pretensions to a literary taste except Mr. Hargrave, and he at present was quite contented with the newspapers and periodicals of the day. And if by any chance he should look in here, I felt assured he would soon depart on seeing me, for instead of becoming less cool and distant towards me, he had become decidedly more so since the departure of his mother and sisters, which was just what I wished. Here then I set up my easel, and here I worked at my canvas from daylight till dusk, with very little intermission, saving when pure necessity or my duties to little Arthur called me away, for I still thought proper to devote some portion of every day exclusively to his instruction and amusement. But contrary to my expectation, on the third morning, while I was thus employed, Mr. Hargrave did look in, and did not immediately withdraw on seeing me.
You will leave him then?
Yes.
When? How?
When I'm ready. And when I can manage it most effectually.
But your child?
My child goes with me.
No, he won't allow it.
I shall not ask him.
Ah. So it is a secret flight you meditate. But with whom, Mrs. Huntington?
With my son. And possibly his nurse.
Alone and unprotected? Where will you go? What can you do? He will follow you and bring you back.
I've laid my plans too well for that. Let me once get clear of Grassdale, and I shall consider myself safe.
You are cruel. You are cruel to me, and you are cruel to yourself.
Remember your promise.
I must speak. Been silent long enough. You will hear me. Look, you owe no allegiance to your husband. He openly declares that he's wary of you. He says anybody can have you. You're about to leave him and nobody will believe that you go alone.
You advise me to stay where I am?
By all means leave him, but not alone, Helen. I'll protect you.
Never.
I won't be denied.
No one has dared to insult me the way you're doing so now.
I don't insult you. I worship you. You're my...
Stand off then, and listen to me. I don't like you.
Alright. I'll leave.